Good morning. Welcome to today's podcast. I have the pleasure of having Jonathan Duran from dailygiving.org on the podcast. This podcast is in merit of Lu Nishma Yerachmel Diana Ben Gedale Yisrael, Success in Yerushalayim L'Sheva V'Rava, Gad Diel Ben L'Sheva, Emner L'Sheva, Shefa L'Sheva, Reda Malka B'Torah Basha. Please share and rate the podcast. Also, September 10th, we have the big event in Miami, in Aventura, on Rosh Hashanah, etc. Welcome to the podcast. I'm so happy to have you here. I saw a clip from yours on Meaningful Minutes, and then somehow somebody introduced you to me, and I heard the story, and I said, we have to share the story, and we have to continue. And I think the story really is about the little wins, how the little wins become so much momentum in life. And sometimes we're obsessed so much about the goal, but let's focus on the little wins. So, please welcome to the podcast. Tell us your story.
Okay, thank you for having me. Thank you all. It's good to be here. About 7 years ago, I was listening to a shir by a rabbi named Rabbi Alon Anava. And Rabbi Anava says, I wasn't just a secular Jew, I dafted cheeseburgers on Yom Kippur. And he overdosed on drugs and he died. And this 2-hour video that I saw, was his story about what the afterlife was like. And obviously he came back to life. And he describes that in it, and it's a phenomenal video. If you haven't seen it, if you haven't heard the story, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he said that at one point, he was in this black abyss of pain and suffering for what felt like 2 billion years. And the message he got was, you don't even have one single mitzvah, not one good deed to elevate you to the next level.
Oh, wow.
And I finished watching the class, and I walked into my local Mara Minyan, and I put $1 in $1 like we've all done hundreds or thousands of times in our lives. And I had the only epiphany I ever had in my life. And no matter how much money I give to tzedakah, I still get a mitzvah for this $1. So I was like, how can I make sure, no matter what, that I'm a giver every single day? That was the thought I had. I was so excited. I ran home. I was excited. I ran home and I started Googling, is anyone automating daily tzedakah giving? And I could not find anything. So I called up my website guy, Shaul, and I said, Shaul, what do you think of this idea? And he said, it's a great idea. I said, can you build me a website? He said, absolutely. And we a couple of friends, we became a nonprofit. We went live January 1st, 2019. We automated this platform to try to get Jews all over the world to give $1 of tzedakah together every single day.
Wow.
And every single day, we give the entire amount to a different incredible Jewish nonprofit. And it's a diversified portfolio of over 75 different incredible Jewish nonprofits all over the world. Most of them you've heard of and you give to, and some you've never heard of, and you'll find out from every day we send an email. We have over 20,000 or 21,000 givers from 43 countries, all giving $1 a day. We're almost at $8 million a year.
Wow.
And we don't take a penny. 100 cents of your dollar goes to tzedakah. And I heard Rabbi Maimon say yesterday on your podcast that, if you do a mitzvah with 2 people, it has much more meaning. You do with 20 people, it has exponential. We have over 20,000 people are doing a mitzvah together every single day.
That's incredible. And you've given over $25 million in charity. From one idea to a $25 million, 20 organizations, incredible. It's just the power of bringing an idea into action, etc. Tell us some, obviously our whole purpose in this world is to transform from receiving to giving. And I love that compound effect, because people, they don't understand the power of one little thing that they do. I think this is the job of the evil inclination, to tell you this is worthless. You sin, tank it. I think our job in life is to do one thing, go into the other direction.
100%. I like to say, it's not the dollar, it's the daily.
Right.
Like by giving every single day, we become givers. Right. When we give, we're in our truest, highest essence of inner alignment.
Tell some stories. And there was one story I was very, very motivated by children, especially how much we pray for our children.
Sure.
But the power of tell us that story. It's such a great story.
So one day a gentleman signs up for $1 a day, and then a minute later signed up a second time, and then a third time, and in 5 minutes he signed up 5 different times with 5 different email addresses. And I called him up and I thanked him and I said, why did you sign up 5 different times? And he said, I signed up for my children. I want to teach my children to be givers. I said, wow, that's incredible. How old are your children? And he said, they're 1, 2, and 4. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, I already reserved their Gmail addresses. So now, in 8 or 9 years, when I give them their passwords and they open their emails for the first time, they're going to see thousands of emails, but only one email, but it's going to be repeated thousands of times. It's going to say, thank you for your donation. And they're going to see that they've been givers their whole lives.
Wow, it's incredible. How much do we put this? Think about this concept. How many people put money in stock accounts? When the kid's 5 years, 2 years old, 3 years old, they put the money in the stock accounts. Next thing you know, they got in the video when they wake up, they're 18. Next thing you know, they have $1 million in the bank account. But how many? What are you giving in this world? What are you giving?
I love
the story.
I love that you said that. My favorite compliment I ever got in my whole life is a daily giver, wrote me an email and said, "You're my Olam Haba investment portfolio manager."
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Tell us a couple other stories of.
Sure.
I'm sure $25 million later, or
Yeah.
patience.
I have a really unique experience to have like a Mikan place for a moment almost every week.
Right.
See the givers. And the first year when we started, a relative of mine signed up for $2 a day. And she was single, she was 36. And I called her and I said, why did you sign up for $2 a day? And she said, one for me, one for my future husband.
Wow.
And 6 months later, she got engaged.
Wow.
And I told that story to Rabbi Ben-Zion Klatsko, and he told that story on a podcast. And then Rabbi Ephraim Goldberg told it on a podcast. And now dozens and dozens of people, I know dozens of people who have gotten married who signed up for daily giving $1 for themselves and $1 for their future spouse.
That's incredible.
And that keeps, just last week, another one happened. And, it's just amazing that people do that.
And again, the reason why we have to use money, because money comes from the same place as the soul. So we know that because a person's, his money is so hard, he's so connected to him. By giving it away, it's like giving away blood. It's like giving away your soul. So this is why, money itself it's so important. Also, Rabbi Nachman, I'm just adding to, not that I'm, partners with you. By the way, one who gets others to give is also considered like
100%.
Right. The power of what Rabbi Nachman says that any new opening requires charity. Any new opening. A person has a blockage in a certain area in his life, in Lesson 4, in the Likutei Moharan. Any blockage you have in life, there's a certain judgment there. And through charity, you can open up the doors. So this is what, it's like, I remember Emmitt Smith, he used to be a running back for the Cowboys, right? And what did he do? He gave all his linemen Rolexes, right? What do you give him? What do you give him your linemen Rolexes? He says, listen, if I don't have an opening, I'm not running anywhere. So you can even hear from that story of the power of creating an opening. And I've done this many times. Also, Rabbi Nachman says that, when you take care of other people's tables, your table will be taken care of. So think about how much money we're spending on therapy when we could be giving a lot more to charity. Sometimes it's a lot of the problems come from just self-centeredness. And if we could just think about others, we can rectify this. So this is
100%. I was in Israel visiting one of the tzedakahs we give to called Bat Melech. I don't know if you heard about Melech. It's a wonderful charity for women who basically they're safe houses for women who have had problems with domestic violence. And I was talking to one of the women there, and I showed her the email that Bat Melech got at the time. It was $15,000 that day. Wow. And she started to cry. And when she composed herself, I said, "What made you so emotional?" And she said, I'm so thankful for Bat Melech for putting a roof over my head, for giving me the therapy I need, for helping my children. But the fact that there are 15,000 people that know about us,
that's incredible. Yeah.
That care about us. So that was like something of 7 years of being a part of this and giving, like to see the other side of the impact, not just the money impact, but just what it could do when we give together.
How do you so you choose your organizations that you guys go?
Yeah, we
have a portfolio.
We had over 700 applications in the last couple of years.
And then you guys will vet them.
We vet them very carefully. We're the steward of $8 million a year, so we're very strict. And then we
not the San Francisco Zoo for culture and Judaism, right?
That's right. Okay, that's right. They're all national and internationalizations that help everyone locally too.
Got it. Okay, so you guys vent them pretty well.
Yeah,
got it.
Yeah,
and then how do you decide? You just per capita, or
we have a rabbinical council. So it's a good question. It's the most difficult thing. It's the most difficult thing. We like to diversify our portfolio. Like for example, like Aleph, which is out of Florida. We give to Aleph. Which helps people in prison. Like some.
And it's a tremendous organization.
Tremendous organization.
In treatment centers, I could see it firsthand.
Right. We give to Amudim, and we give to infertility and cancer and orphans and widows and substance abuse and mental health and domestic violence and Torah and Kiruv and life saving and stem cells. Like we really try to for $1. Mishpacha magazine wrote an article about us a couple of years ago, and it was a great article. And a couple hundred people signed up. But what was more impressive to me is that 2 weeks later, someone wrote a letter to the editor, and it was published. And it said, I've always struggled with tzedakah because I always felt my $18 check, my $36 check, it felt like it's meaningless. How is my $18 having any impact?
Right.
But for the first time, at the time it was $14,000, they said for daily giving, I feel like I'm a big philanthropist. Every single day, I'm giving $14,000 a day. I could never do that. And even if you're wealthy, you can't give everyone. You just can't. You can't give everyone. So what we're doing is for $1 a day, you're able to help so many different people in such an impactful way.
And we know also that the person who is poor brought a pancake in the Beit HaMikdash. He bought a pancake offering. So that $18 for that person is considered like the sheep or the goat for somebody else. So it's all relative in what condition you're in, how squeezed you are by the money.
Yeah.
So that's numbers are not relative. It's really the condition you're in and how much sacrifice you're making for that money.
When I sometimes I'm around and I try to and telling about daily giving, and someone says, I just lost my job, and I said, I know it's hard, but did you give $1 a day now when you're really suffering and that dollar really means even more? I'm telling you,
right.
The reward will be so great.
Tony Robbins had a story that he had nothing left to give, and he ended up giving his last money away, and obviously now he's worth billions of dollars. But the concept of being squeezed in your last bit and giving that money, I remember going through a horrific financial challenge, 10 years ago, and one thing I didn't do is stop the charity. I said, look, this is going, and what's funny? I'll tell you the craziest thing about it. What did they do? They tried to. The person who I was dealing with, they called the IRS and says, listen, this guy's giving charities, getting kickbacks from the organizations. So what happened? The IRS audited all, at that time, hundreds of thousands of dollars in charity, and they couldn't believe it. I documented everything. And that would save me. The charities would save me.
Wow.
The charity. They called the IRS. There's no way he's giving this kind of money in charity. He's doing this because at that time there was a big scandal with a certain community that they were getting money back, and the charity saved me. I saw it black and white, and the IRS agents come in. We don't understand. Everything's accounted for. What's wrong with this guy? How could he not get it? And then nothing. That saved me. So I've seen myself, and again, my personal self, anytime there's problems, anytime there's this, right away, charity first, then we think about the situation. Because we need that mercy, but I guess but I love the concept of the kids.
Yeah,
how many just to let the kid wake up? All of a sudden, he's got he's been given a mitzvah a day for 360 days. That's incredible. So I'm going to definitely sign up my kids. How do people sign up?
So you go to dailygiving.org. It's very easy, and we can't hit your credit card every single day because the transaction fee would be like 30 cents on that dollar. That would go not very far. So you have a choice to sign up either monthly or annually, and we're your shaliach. Every single day, I give the money for you. And every day you get the email that reminds you did something good. And we see it. People say,
So the email comes every day.
The email comes every day, and it tells you where the money's going with a video about the organization, with the link to the organization. One time, an organization called Masam Chelev, which helps, people with poverty in Israel. And one day, they called me. They said, we got 8 sizable donations from our website. We could not figure out why. We asked all the employees, did you do something? And no one could figure out. Finally, they realized it was the day that Daily Giving sent out the email to all our givers.
Oh wow!
That people were so impressed with what they did. 8 people went onto their website, clicked through, and then donated a sizable amount to them. So the $25.5 million we've already given out doesn't even represent what it could be. What we don't know. We don't know the impact of having people call me.
This podcast is going to get to the next level.
Yeah, thank you. Every it's Elul, right?
Yeah.
And this is done true with tzedakah.
I think it's how many times pray for your soulmate. I love that. Pray, give him a give. Believe you're going to have a soulmate. Give a $1 on his name.
Yeah.
I've known people that have said tikkun klali for their soulmate, and they've met their soulmate. So again, going against your nature is giving. We're here. We're all we are is, and this is the problem I think, of the world is what do you want this year? I want to make $1 million this year. I want to be married this year. No, who do you need to be to get to that? I think we need to change the identity instead of what do I want? Instead of what am I getting, the shopping list, the identity. I want to become a daily giver. I want to become a guy who gives charity all the day. I want to become a big, a great father. Instead of fix my shalom, fix my marriage. Become a great father. You're going to automatically fix your. So I think if we change the identity, I think we'll get a lot better effect than that. And I love this concept about just becoming a daily giver.
Rabbi Zachariah Wallerstein, he was amazing. He was a big fan of daily giving. And he used to say to me, how can we only be at 5,000? How can it only be at 10,000? It's such a no-brainer. And what I see is basically what you just said is that I go around and I talk to people. I went to APAC the first year, January. So we started January 1st, 2019. In March or April, I went to APAC. I brought 1,000 daily giving business cards. And I went around and had 1,000 conversations with people. And at least 100 of them said, wow, this is incredible. I'm going to sign up. And they meant it. 100%, I believe they meant it. At least 100. Guess how many signed up?
10?
6. 6 out of 1,000. And the reason is because it's so against our nature. The Yetzer Hara, Mel Robbins says, right? Like if you don't do something within 5 seconds from the time it goes to your head, it's out. She's talking about the Yetzer Hara. And let me tell you, we have an even bigger Yetzer Hara when it comes to giving. Because like, everyone's like, wow, this is a no-brainer. I'm going to sign up for daily giving. But then a minute later, oh, well, but I give to my shul and I give to my school and I don't get to choose which tzedakah. There's always reasons. But I've seen personally in my own life what's happened in the last 7 years. Look, I'm a chiropractor. I have my own business. My wife's not working.
Everybody's making adjustments in life.
That's right.
Everybody's making adjustments. And lack of alignment at the end of the day.
Exactly. I was thinking on the plane all the way.
Alignment is the issue.
Alignment is the issue, right? I thought my topic was a chiropractor. No, my topic was to get other people in alignment in a different way.
See? You fixed up in the spiritual world, but you need it on the physical world too.
Exactly.
With the alignment business. That's what you should say.
We're in the alignment business. I love it.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that's what it's all about.
We're gonna put the link up, and remember, this is Elul. Remember, I need to explain to everybody. I had David, my video guy. He said, David, do me a favor, put something on Rosh Hashanah. Put a Instagram, something new. So the video he posted is Rosh Hashanah is the day that your contract is up. Your contract's up for renegotiation. So this is all in Elul. Imagine you're getting, you see these players in the NFL. They sit out. They're waiting for the big contract. We don't sit out. We're making the deal on Elul. So when the contract's up, you get renegotiated. You want to be able to renegotiate as a giver, not as a receiver. So I think I love that concept of contract is up on Rosh Hashanah. And
I'm sure you see in your life, I've seen in my life that whenever you give, it comes back. You feel it. Like I remember the one time I stretched most to get tzedakah. It hurt. It was like that month it hurt, and then I had like the best month I ever had in my practice.
When it hurts is when you're going against your nature. Yeah. When it's easy to give, like for me, it's not going to be a hard thing to give $1 a day. You understand? Right. But for people to break their nature, but God willing, I'll give more than $1 a day. But the people to break their nature is really key.
Yeah.
And honestly, everybody's into the hedge funds. Let the hedge fund handle the charity for you.
And I think the reason I had 15 different executive CEOs of organizations tell me, Jonathan, we tried, everyone, this is the oldest trick in the book. Just get all your donors to give $1 a day and you'll have enough money for your whole organization. And they said, we all failed. And when you called us and said what your idea was, we said, okay, fine, we'll take your free money, but it's going to stop pretty quickly. And the reason I think it's successful is because of the achdus, of the unity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hashem loves unity. What more could Hashem want than all of his children coming together every day to give to our brothers and sisters who are less fortunate? And that's why I think so. Even when I meet a billionaire or when I meet a high school kid, I don't care. Just give $1. Like it's like the makatzit shekel, right? Like when we all give together, it's really that's the power.
Yeah, and again, it's a compound effect. I think it's the compound effect. Charity saves you from death. How many times are we almost about to get into a car accident? Next thing you know, you stop in the middle of, maybe I'm not the greatest driver, but maybe because you gave charity. You gave charity, in the morning, and that email saved you. So we don't know that. We don't know these things. And definitely I love this concept about for giving for children. Also, problematic people that you have in your life. Give charity in their honor, in their honor, and you never know the charity can change them. Your words are not changing them, but the charity can change them.
One woman said she was having infertility issues, and she signed up for $1 for her future child tzedakah. I didn't hear back.
Yeah. That's
I was like, that's just beautiful. That's a beautiful manifestation. Yeah,
it's the manifestation.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm happy to be partners with you in the in this pyramid, a good pyramid.
It is, right? It's like
and everybody else should get others to.
It's like a candle, right? When you take, you're in a dark room and you come in and you have 100 people can come from that flame and it doesn't hurt the flame. Like let's all tell all of
It's a Chabad model.
Exactly. We're all partners.
Affected by the growth.
That's right.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me.